just when we think US politics can't hit a lower point, it has. We've had all of the Donald Trump problems, we've had President Biden and his problems, and now with his son in court. Now, the United States House of Representatives right now has no speaker. One of the most important institutions which governs the United States, has no one in charge and has 45 days only left of funding to run the government. Kevin McCarthy has been rolled in a coup led by the far right of the Republican Party, moved against him. Let's see what Kevin McCarthy has said.
Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it is necessary. I don't regret standing up for choosing governance over grievance. It is my responsibility. It is my job.
Where then, John, does this leave the Republicans?
Well, not only is America itself bitterly divided along sort of Democrat lines versus Republican, pro-Trump versus anti-Trump, but now within the Republican Party there are quite vicious divisions now, as we've seen. There's the group who moved against him on the far right, and there's the group who stayed with Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy himself was a sort of an odd character, not popular in the Congress, and in fact he condemned Donald Trump over the January 6th situation, but then the moment he had the chance to win the speakership, he was off to Mar-a-Lago for, you know, his session with Donald Trump, and he got his imprimatur. Where it means now for the Republicans is they're going into an election year bitterly divided in the Congress, and with a candidate, Donald Trump, who's facing a myriad of charges, civil and criminal.
A potential candidate. We're not quite there yet, are we? But where does it leave him? I mean, he is with those on the far right of the Republican Party, so therefore, can he mould them together?
Perhaps. I mean, it's been interesting. We've barely heard anything from him over the last 24 hours on the situation to do with Kevin McCarthy. He's obviously immersed in his own problems in New York now. He's got the civil action over the financial situation. Did he willingly and knowingly overvalue his assets? So he's got that to deal with, and that's probably taken his attention. But it's been interesting that he hasn't bought into this latest crisis. But nonetheless, whatever happens, he is clearly the strongest frontrunner by a long way.
Can he have any influence on who is voted as the next speaker?
Well, yes. I mean, behind the scenes, he is certainly, his shadow is over everything in the US at the moment on the Conservative side, the Republican side. So he will probably be the one who anoints the Speaker. He is like the Teflon man. I mean, nothing can damage him. We heard what he said about grabbing women even before he was the president the first time. Then he's got all of these various charges. He's got the January 6th situation. He's been accused in all sorts of jurisdictions in the United States of different crimes and offences. He says the whole thing is a conspiracy, but I think he will be the kingmaker. At the moment, no one in the Republican Party is game to criticise him. If you do like Chris Christie, you don't have much of a future. So he's certainly got put fear into the Republican Party, which is why I think he'll be the kingmaker.
OK, so it obviously all plays into the next presidential election next year. 45 days, did you say, until they elect the new Speaker? 45
days, no. They're going to meet next week. The Republicans are meeting. They will vote next week as the majority party. They'll vote for the new Speaker. As of now, they don't know who that will be. Right. We don't know who that will be. They have 45 days of funding left. Right. To run the country, to run the government, to run the Defence Department, the Pentagon and everything. And
does the default fall into the hands of Donald Trump? Is that what he would like to see, that chaos leading into an election?
Perhaps, because he can then play the card that, listen, none of this mess, this is the swamp, even though it's the Republican swamp, this is the swamp happening in Washington. Bring me back again to solve all of this. He said he can solve the Ukraine war within 24 hours, he said on CNN a while back. He will undoubtedly pitch that he can resolve this swamp happening right now in the Congress, even though it's in his own party.